Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Justin reminded me about it last night because we were
How do
watching.
you forget about something like that?
Well, I don't think about it. You know, what I'm saying I've almost died like a half a dozen times.
Well, I mean, you do have a point.
I mean, when I was so that was when I was like 9 or 10. When I was 15 years old, I was cruising Franklin with some friends. I had a couple buddies that were a little older than me, and this guy had a Geo Tracker. I think was it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so I was sitting in the back seat of it, and you know, back then I ran around with some pretty seedy motherfuckers. And we pulled into on West Franklin. If you go past like the McDonald's and Burger King, there was like a little service station there, but it's not. You can't get gas there anymore.
Yeah.
So we pulled into that parking lot to turn around, and when we did, the guy driving the car saw somebody that he had like a problem with. So he throws the Geo in park and jumps out and like starts running at this guy. And as he's running at like the rest of us all hop out the car, 'cause, you know, it looks like we're about to fight, right? And before the guy got halfway to him, the guy he was running at pulls a gun out and just starts popping shots right at us.
Damn.
I'm 15 years old, man. Like this shit, like it's never fucking
shit
happened before.
myself.
And like as soon as I saw that gun come out, I was like, oh shit! And I ran like ducked behind the car and shit and got shot at. Fucking scared the fuck out of me, dude. That's the last time I cruised Franklin.
The toughest statement just said in that whole conversation was he slammed that Geo in park.
Yeah, I mean, you know, shit like that happens so fast.
That was the toughest statement. You slammed that Geo in park.
And then when I was 19, me and a buddy, it was New Year's Eve, 99, going into 2000. And we went to this party, up all night, blah, blah, blah. Late that night, we take a joyride in the middle of the night, and this guy had a little CRX, like a little fucking coffin on wheels, and he was flying down one of these country roads, and we come around this curve, and he comes swinging around this curve. He's doing like 75 miles an hour, and he can't hang the curve, and he veers off. And he smacked a tree, like the front end smacked a tree, and he was going so fast that the car flipped up like that. So like the back of the car hit the tree, and then the car just turned over. And we were kind of stuck. The whole front end pushed in. Like I've still got like a little hole in my leg where like something got a hold of me there. The steering wheel cut his guts. He was sucking ice for a few weeks. Oddly enough, when we got in the car, we were pretty lit. We got in the car and kind of looked at each other and said seatbelts, like, you know, kind of being silly. And we put on our seatbelts, and that's literally what saved our lives from that one. But I was in the hospital for a while from that one, and then you guys know about the one. So in 2013, I got hit by a transfer truck. So like, no stranger to it, you know. Like I don't know. You start to. I don't know how other people who find near-death experiences feel. I don't feel invincible. I feel fortunate. I feel lucky.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that last one scared like I had my son then. Like none of that shit. All that other shit happened before I had a kid, and so like after that last one, it kind of made me feel like I had like a purpose here, and it kind of shifted my attitude about a lot of stuff after that.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I'm glad I've just been adjacent. Like I've witnessed things happen and go, I really need to step back from the situation because it could go bad. And like, thankfully, I've just witnessed it.
Well, I guess I'm too stupid. If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough.
I got T-boned once. The last car, I was probably in like 2015, 2016, something like that. Yeah, I got T-boned. And what's crazy, I went to the house to go to I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and then I'd gone out to go to a job interview, and it was right there in Lincolnton, right where the Family Video used to be.
Yeah.
I went to turn left. I went to turn left, which is a big mistake. Never turn left in Lincolnton.
Never turn left in Lincoln.
And then some dude in a big
know
truck was
that.
looked like he was like watching for me. And then if I said come on, and there was somebody coming, and it hit the ever living
Yeah.
crap out of me. And then if I didn't react the way I did, I probably would have been worse. But I kind of just I got hit 180, and then it put me on the side of the road there, so I was already out of traffic, and so I wouldn't have got hit by anything else. So
Did you get hurt? No.
I had my knees smacked together, so that I was sore for a few days. But other than that, I was fine.
What about you, Mike? You ever been in a near-death experience?
Well, me and my friend Matt, I took me and my friend Matt and his little brother Andy. We all went to the mall one night in Shelby. On the way back, we were driving. We came through Bethlehem Road and Kings Mountain, going the country roads. And then I decided, I was like, here, I'm going to take you down this road. We went down Pfeiffer Road towards the high school. And then there's this Pfeiffer Circle that goes off of that. And I turned on the Pfeiffer Circle. And for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking that this curve this says coming up is not as bad as the sign makes it out to be. So I go through the curve a little bit too fast. I'm being kind of stupid that night.
Yeah.
And hit some gravel, and we hit a ditch and flipped the car over.
Ooh.
We're wearing seatbelts. We get out. My window's crunched like that, but I kind of shimmy out somehow. Kick the stereo on the way out, turn the volume way up. And Fairies Wear Boots by Black Sabbath is blaring. Car's upside down. The hazard lights are flashing. And then Matt, we all get out. Matt's little brother goes back in and gets our comic books and cassettes that we bought that night. But he was laying in the back seat that night, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He was asleep when we flipped over.
Holy shit.
So we're all really lucky we survived that.
Yeah.
And
He just
especially
tumbled.
him back there. And then he went back in the car with it upside down to fish out all the stuff we bought that night.
Goodness.
The craziest car experience.
Pull that mic in.
Huh?
Pull the mic in.
This is it. That's
Yeah.
all I got. Craziest car experience I have, I was coming back from Greenville with my ex-wife and her child, my stepkid, who was 6. And this is going to shock you that Dodge Charger's involved in this because Dodge Chargers are fucking assholes. It's guaranteed certified, sorry. Or Ram truck, sorry. Anyway, I'm coming through. We're coming off an exit. It's raining. And this fucking Charger's going 100 mile an hour because why would you not? You have a Charger. And as he goes around
it's
us as we're
easy.
merging in, he starts to do this shimmy shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Starts to
just
fish out.
spins. And he goes up onto this embankment over here. And I straight up Days of Thunder it. I see all the debris and shit. And I'm just just go into the smoke and don't slow down. And I fucking just clip around his ass. He fucking takes out 3 cars behind me and hits a fucking middle thing straight through. Ashley's like, what the shit? Freaking out. Kid in the back's like, what just happened? And I'm just like, professional driver, bro. We're good.
I mean,
That's me too. I'm a
I've had my
professional
nose
driver
broken in
now.
a car accident, but not a near-death experience.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing ever. Just because, like I said, it was straight up everything kind of slowed down straight through the smoke.
That's
I could
crazy.
just kind of, and like I said, I just kept the speed up and just kind of worked around his accident coming in. But I was just like, are you fuck? Because I saw the dude just start to do this, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. And he just
Yeah, I often joke whenever you get stuck in traffic, I always jokes at the front of every traffic jam is one fucking dumbass, one idiot did
Yeah.
something stupid. Yeah. People forget how fragile we are in these metal death boxes.
Well, when I said witness stuff, I grew up in the hood, so I mean I've gone out there, outside in the morning doing my chores before school, and I remember I was half asleep, and all of a sudden I was I hear, go back in your house and tell your parents to lock the doors. I look up and there's a police officer with his K9 unit. They're searching for somebody in my neighborhood, and he's all up in my neighbor's backyard. But then I'm like, okay. He goes, go now. And so next thing we hear helicopters. You can look out the windows. You can see officers on foot everywhere. Don't know who they were looking for. But we lived right off of 85. So stuff like that happened all the time. People thought they could just hide out in our neighborhood. I mean, I sat on my front porch and watched shootouts because we had a drug house down the street.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I should go inside. That's what I'm talking about. Those types of situations.
Yeah. I mean, it's we're fragile, man.
Yeah.
We're people take it for granted all the time. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Nope.
Guys, we're talking to 2/4, 1/2, two. I said 2/4 like a fucking idiot.
It's the
God,
same
I'm
thing.
so off today. We're talking to half of the new band Stink Buggg. Say what's up, fellas. Tell the camera who you are. Well, we all know Mike, but this is the first time we're meeting
They
you.
don't know Mike. Maybe. Do they?
Well,
Well, yeah. So, yeah, my name's Mike Phillips, and I play lead bass for Stink Buggg because we have 2 bass players.
Oh, double bass.
I am Dewayne Burns. I play drums in Stink Buggg. I'm also a guitar player in Lewis Turnout. That band is also important. Fuck Stink Buggg.
And I've known this guy since elementary school. So,
Yeah,
oh, right
so
on.
we go way back.
Oh, wow.
We go way back.
So, what's it like for a drummer with 2 bass players? Does that?
It's not weird at all because he
Yeah.
doesn't play bass. He just has 4 strings. It's not that way at all. I try to
Okay.
tell everybody. I don't know what people expect it to be like. It's TJ plays bass. TJ boobity bass.
Does bass line. He does traditional bass
He basically
line.
plays lead. I mean, that's all it is. It's just like double times baritone lead guitar kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I play it like a guitar most
Yeah.
of the time.
Oh, so
it's
I
just
do
got a deeper
bass lines,
sound
but
to it.
even
No,
when
he
I
just
do,
plays leads and stuff over it. He's not setting a rhythm at all. I mean, he's over
Yeah.
there wanking. That's all.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is,
yeah. I was gonna say even when I play
wanks
bass
more
lines,
than
it's
Eric.
more like a lead.
So
All right, that's got to be
It's
fun,
interesting.
right? Like the freedom to kind of play around on the bass like that. It's got to be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun. When we first started, so me and Eric Huskins is in this band. Me and Eric used to be in a band called Van Huskins. We've been on the podcast before, so you might have heard that. We were together for like 9 years, but things happened and we broke up.
right.
It was just time. It was time. And so me and Eric were talking about doing another band. And at one point I said, well, really the only way for it not to sound like Van Huskins is for me to switch to guitar and let's get another bass player. But we didn't really like settle on that idea. We just kind of, we'll do something. And then when we decided to start playing, Eric had the idea. He had already been fishing around ideas for names and things like that. And he just came up with the idea of getting our friend TJ Bravo. Been in a bunch of bands, Merit Badge, Blame It on Bart. I think he was in Merit Badge. Maybe he wasn't in that band. He was in Blame It on Bart, Chase Warren on the Home Records, Mr. Gold. But getting him to play bass and me staying on bass too, and just seeing what happened. And then I'm like, all right, cool.
So were you intending on playing 6-string guitar and then just decided let me play around on the bass instead?
I thought I'd switch to guitar in this band and we get another bass player. And then Eric said, why don't you both just play bass and let's see what happens? You know, a lot of bands
That's
have
a
2
wild
guitar
idea,
players.
man.
It is.
And it's not unprecedented. There's other bands with 2 bass players.
Yeah.
Plenty of funk bands. There's rock bands that have 2 bass players.
Ned's Atomic Dust Bin.
Yeah. So there's a lot of bands that have done it. Not a lot, but a good number of bands. So it's not a novel idea, but we decided to do it. And I didn't really know what we would do with it, but it came together pretty quick that TJ's a real solid, good low-end bass player, does a lot of great runs. And I've always kind of played a little bit more like a guitar anyway, the way I play bass. It's Lemmy style. So I just kind of adapted that and played more chords and,
Right on.
like you say, lead type stuff. And then I decided to get a 5-string so I can do a little bit more with it.
Was there any intention with like your sound? 'Cause I listened to the demos you sent me, and it's fun, is what
Yeah.
it is. I had a lot of fun listening to it, because I know Eric enough to know that did he have like a vision for how he wants to sound, or was it just let's see what happens?
Again, like just like with Van Huskins, he writes all the songs so far. He brings all those ideas. But in this band, even more so than in Van Huskins, he was like, just everybody do what you want to do, and let's see what happens.
It came out
And
great.
so-
What I listened to came out great.
Yeah. And so like we had another drummer at first, and it just wasn't really coming together. Like he didn't really know what we wanted to do, and he didn't really have the idea or any ideas to take charge of it. But when he came in, like it immediately came together like that.
Dwayne, how'd you get involved?
I was asked to play in another band that didn't work out.
Yeah.
That's what originally was asked for. You were going to do some black metal thing. Or Eric had mentioned something like that. He's like, I want to do a black metal thing.
I can't imagine Eric doing black metal.
And at
I
the
just
time-
can't. I can't see it.
We've got some black metal influence in some of
And-
our, on one of our songs now.
And at the time, like, I really wasn't doing a whole lot. Because I live in Columbia. So it's not
okay.
like I just jaunt up here, you know.
No, that's a
It's-
field trip.
Yeah, it's fucking. And Eric lives in the worst place in the world. He lives in downtown Charlotte. It's terrible. It's like half my journey is from fucking Rock Hill to his house.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like from my house to Rock Hill, all day breezy. But I was like I said, when Lewis Turnout, and we were kind of on a low at the time, not really doing anything. Wasn't doing that much, and then I was like, well, I'll come there and give it a shot because they had said they were needing a new drummer, and they were like, we have a kit here, so you don't have to bring anything, which wound up being a lie. The guy took his kit. Why would he not? And I was like, well, as long as I leave my kit, we'll do it. So I was able to leave the kit because I wasn't about to haul one back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed up, and then they had stuff written. I went through about 5 or 6 things pretty early on, changed a lot of them, and you know.
Was it just a style different in style, or did you think what you had would sound better?
I just think that I have a style that a lot of people do not have. I have a style that's kind of hard to replicate. I don't know, because I am a guitar player and a drummer. Because I think when they met me, they didn't realize that I played drums, because they met me when I was in the Style Kings. I've been a drummer for years. I was my first band on guitar. They just happened to see that as my first band at the Milestone, which is funny because his brother joined later on as our drummer.
This was like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
close to 30 years ago.
This is one of those times they don't talk about the Milestone in the 90s.
Yeah, the forgotten years.
So yeah, and then I was in a band after that. Was it Mitchell? You saw me as a drummer? You're like, you fucking play drums too? And I'm like, yeah. And then I've just kind of been a drummer. Like I was in Young Tom Fury, and fucking the
Cherry Ices.
Cherry Ices. Been a bunch of, and I've different bands, different drum instruments, whatever. But I just go there to do that and everything. It's just stylistically, I just play differently, I guess. I don't. My only thing was I was like, I will not do sludge or stoner metal, which is funny because they're all fucking stoners. I was like, I will not do that. I just won't. It bores the shit out of me.
I was gonna say, is it because of the monotonous
shit out of me? I won't watch a stoner band. Fuck the Melvins. Sorry guys. Fuck Weed Eater. I sat and watched those bitches. Oh god, it was terrible. Anyway, I've offended everyone in Gastonia and Charlotte. Just stoner metal. Don't get it. Do not. You know, is a long practice one song? You know, like what is it? I don't know. How do you do it? I don't smoke weed either, so I guess that's probably why it just gets in my head.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, whatever. But
hot takes today on the show.
There was one night a while back when we were having some problems in Van Huskins, and me and Dewayne were just chatting on Facebook, and at that time he kind of threw the idea out. Hey man, if you and Dewayne, you and Eric ever want to do anything, I'd be willing to ride up there. And so when we started kind of figuring out, well, we might need another drummer, I think me and Eric both kind of went, so that's Dewayne. And then
now I'm curious, what is
his story filled the rest of that in.
Yeah, what do you listen to?
What do I listen to?
Yeah, what do you like to listen to?
I mean, I have a real circle of stuff. I consider myself a hardcore punk metal guy.
Okay.
My early formative years were very thrashy. I can tell you the things I hate more than I can the things I love.
All right.
Like I fucking hate new metal.
Oh, come
last
on.
night I made a statement how Snoop Dogg ruined rap. How about that one? That was made last night in the Milestone.
Yeah,
and
me
Eric
and
cried
Eric.
like a baby. Tears came down his face. He came in his hand, his hat in his hands, tears down his face. Dwayne, what would you say this? I said that he ruined music the way the Deftones did. Oh,
oh my God.
Oh, now you're gonna offend.
I don't care. That guy when,
All I can do is just sit here like this.
that guy when he brought the money shit, fucking get out.
It's sexy, man.
It is not.
Females
It's
love
fucking
it.
silly. I watched the dudes play, and the only salvation was Quicksand open for them. A great band. I went to see that. Everyone's like, "Go see Deftones." I'm like, okay. I was like, God damn, this is just as boring live as it is on the.
See, now I used to hate the Deftones too, but then like a girl made me kind of like them. But I got the White Pony album recently, and I put it on, and like one song into it, I'm like, I got to take a song
That's
because it
just
just
that
made me
era,
think
man.
of her. That's all it made me think of.
Well, that's not even their best work.
It's
man.
just my age bracket for new metal. That
I
shit
still
came
like 'em.
out,
I think they're a good band.
I was like, this is trash, man.
New metal's
Deftones aren't
fun.
really new metal. They get lumped in with that, but they're not really new metal.
I don't know, but that whole era
I'll
in general.
defend that.
Just,
I'll defend that.
Well, just
I mean, I'll admit there are some shitty new metal bands that should not have been famous.
like Korn. Just put it on.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on.
Like-
Well, see, let me.
Korn- no, here's
I just
all right,
want
here's
to
why
go
you-
through the list of stuff he hates. I mean, like,
hold on. Here's why you're wrong about Korn. Korn. It was one of the most creative bands ever. They did something that no one had ever done before.
that is true.
Yeah.
And made it sound amazing. Like, and if you've ever seen Korn live, they are a fantastic.
Oh, I'm
band,
sure
dude.
all those bands are. The way I feel about it though is like, if somebody gets some enjoyment out of it, I ain't got no problem with it. Like, I don't hate on bands anymore because it's not my thing. That's not my
There's
thing.
only one band I still kind of hate
He's
on, and it's
too
kind
chill,
of
Mike.
tired at this point. But I'm never going to get over Nickelback coming out trying to positioned themselves as a metal band, riding the
Yeah, they're
coattails.
terrible,
They rode the coattails of Dimebag Darrell, kind of used as their relationship.
They were on Roadrunner Records when they first came out.
GSI left that label because of
Yeah,
people back.
exactly. Hey,
Yeah.
they were right. They were
And
right
then-
to do that.
Yeah, and then they turned into a big pop band, and I don't get and it's like a lot of their fans are like people who have airbrushed shit on the hood of their car, like yeah, like this.
Oh, man.
No offense to anybody, but
They got
yeah.
Hall and Oates.
And
But,
Timmy's brothers.
When we get out of here, I'm taking my airbrush wizard van and going the fuck home.
But I don't like to hate on stuff, especially now that I want to celebrate art. Even art that might
yeah.
not speak to certain people, because there's shit out there that I think is silly and stupid and ridiculous.
No, you have to
but-
realize my hard takes are the fact of just like it's when I say things like I fucking hate the tones. People will lose their fucking mind and tell me 50 reasons why I should like them, like I should like Dave
Yeah.
Matthews. I'm just not.
I'm
bro.
with you on that.
I'm just not. Get
But-
over it.
but at the
You
same
never
time,
listen to them.
he-
That's the thing. Like I did something wrong, but I've never listened to them. No, I was there when they were created. I listened. They saturated the fucking radio,
They did.
guys.
They
I
did.
heard them.
Yeah.
I've heard Korn. I've heard Slipknot. I've heard these bands. I've heard them. It's just so happened they're not Napalm Death. I'm sorry. They're not Slayer. They're not the bands that those guys are like. Those are influences. Well, you don't.
Yeah,
you didn't take
no,
the right
it's
voice from
it's
them.
true, man. For like when most people like really start getting heavy into music, in their like early teens or mid teenage years, and it's like you've got like this 20-year span from like 15 to 35, where like that's kind of like your era of music.
Yeah.
And then once you get to be about 35, it's harder to get into the newer
is.
stuff. Now, fortunately, like for me, there was like this dead zone where when new metal took over rock and roll. Like, there weren't a lot of really good rock bands coming out, just like straight rock. And it just kind of took over the genre, and it got tired. And then, in the 2000s, there were some good rock and roll bands. Like 3 Days Grace is a great band. I thought Breaking Benjamin was a good band. Like, the whole dad rock stuff, I like some of that stuff, but a lot of people think it's gay or whatever,
It's fine. It's not for me.
The biggest during the 2000s, like between 2008 or not early 2008, where everything was going dad rock on mainstream radio, the small venues and the smaller local bands is where like the rock was like that. They were trying to actually bring good rock back.
Well, what happens is, it's the same thing that happens to every industry in American, culture. It gets sanitized because the goal, like the people with the most money and the most power, they're able to move the needle on things and get things in front of people, right? And their goal is to appeal to as many people as possible. And the more sanitized you make something, the more people will buy into it. Because it's like you're saying right now with like new metal, like you have a specific taste, you have the kind of music you like, but when something comes out that appeals to the masses, it's kind of like, it's like it rubs us the wrong way, right? When like we're really
That was just a period where like I was touring a lot, and like I was more in the what I consider the real hardcore scene. Like I was doing stuff and touring a lot, and I guess I dealt more with like underground, like Born Against, things like that were what I was listening to. But at the same time, I'm a big punk rock fan. J Church. Screeching Weasel was one of my all-time favorite bands, even though Ben Weasel is a complete piece of shit.
Screaming Trees was a great band, but you're right. He's,
Okay, Screeching Trees was a good band. I don't know where that came from, but
He said Screeching Weasel.
oh, you said
Screeching Weasel.
I thought you said.
But I was like, yeah,
heard
fucking
Screech.
Screeching Trees was great. Paul Westerberg from fucking In the Replacements, and Paul Westerberg.
And Paul Westerberg just on his own.
I love him. Like, it's not like I'm like this metal dude who's like, oh shit, whatever and stuff.
Well, it is annoying. Like you get the very genre specific
Yeah.
fans, and that's fine. Like you like what you like. I happen to like all of it. Like I can see gems and and bad in all of it. Like like I said, there's new metal bands I don't like, and there's new metal bands that I love. Same thing with like hip hop, R&B, like every genre of music. I can find value. I can find something relatable in most genres of music, and then there's stuff that's just shit.
Yeah.
there
There are individual artists that you don't like in every genre.
There's some bands that I like just because of their sound, not necessarily what they're saying. And then there's like silly shit out there that's kind of fun to listen to. But people that take it like so seriously, where it's like you're offending them by liking a band, like you need to do more things. You need a more full life if you're so into something that you're offended by someone else's opinion about it.
So
Unless it's Smash Mouth. Like, I draw the line at Smash Mouth.
Hey, now.
what Don't be an all-star.
I will say best Smash Mouth story ever is when I was in the band, Young Tom 3 went to record our very first album, and the guy recorded and said, I was like, what do you hear when you listen to our stuff? He's like, reminds me a lot of like a Smash Mouth kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We're an indie rock band, and I don't think Smash Mouth sound indie rock at all.
No.
Well,
There's this to me, but also the guy didn't know what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
It was our very first EP. We recorded everything through pods because he didn't know how to record. I guess he just stumbled on to like, I can record digitally and make money. And
Woo!
it was terrible. It didn't sound great.
a fair weather producer.
I guess. I don't know. Some random, I don't know his name. It was just this thing like, we get this guy to record us. I'm like, cool. And then we went, and I had to play electric kit that was terrible. It didn't trigger right.
I really don't like electric kits.
It sounds okay from right there at the green room door. It sounds weird. Out here, you hear the drum sounds. I hear pat 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 pat. I'm like, that sounds so stupid.
Just depends on the kit. The problem with electric kits is like for them to sound good, you can't buy a cheap one. You have to buy a really nice one.
But the crowd hears it well. I hear just.
I will say this: we had As Daylight Dies was here a couple weeks ago. They're a Killswitch Engage tribute band, and their drummer played an electric kit. And I will admit, he sounded great.
Yeah,
he was on point. It was a really nice kit he had, but it was one of the first times that an electric kit sounded good on our stage. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I guess there are kits out there you can make work, but.
I mean, honestly, most acoustic kits are electric kits now because everyone plays triggers. So, I mean, honestly, everything's electric now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You don't play triggers.
No, I don't. And you can tell when someone does. When they're going, it's like, oh,
this is punk rock.
The most smooth I've ever heard off of a barely a tap. So, triggers are just, Yeah,
well, my whole thing, like, to put a bow. So I don't want to make a whole show shitting on stuff, but to put a bow on it, I'll say this: I stand back here every night and I watch people with big smiles on their face, having the time of their life, having a great time, no matter what the genre is. Now, even when we get cover bands in here, tribute bands in here, some people like to shit on cover bands, and we don't do a whole lot of cover band shows because I want to highlight original stuff. But we do from time to time, and when we do, and you see the people having a good time, it's like, it's hard for me to find fault in people being happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but if you like Taylor Swift, good for you.
Same here.
Guess who is? I think she's pretty rad.
You're a Swiftie.
Are
you a Swiftie?
I'm perfectly fine with it. I wouldn't say best. I don't know her, but when I listen to her, I'm like, she writes her own music. Fuck yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I do respect it.
She's
Yeah,
got like
I do
a whole
respect it.
And she
shit,
seems
like,
like
big
a
catalog?
seriously decent person. So there you go. Those two things
she's
alone.
all right.
Yeah.
She's all right.
I'm more of like
She's
a
still
Lady Gaga
billionaire,
fan.
and
I like Lady
her
Gaga.
Yeah,
music's
but she pays
kinda,
her people. Great. Like her bus driver's like 50,000. Good job.
Yeah.
Give your fucking bus driver $50,000. Good than you.
Right.
And see, that's the thing. You can.
Bezos ain't giving me $50,000 for buying a CD. CD? I bought a CD. No.
Well, there's some bands that like you'll get turned off because of their fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Dallas Cowboys. Like I already
Did you say
hate
Dave Matthews? Oh, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Exact same thing. It's the fan base that's annoying as fuck.
It's okay.
So you have to see him live. I'm like, I don't want to go to a Date Rape concert. Leave me alone. Sorry. That's just what I see. I see people that are my age that are just like, put that in your drink for you.
Oh, wow.
This is the last thing we'll get off this. I have a Dave Matthews story for the one time I was in the room with Dave Matthews. And by the way, I don't hate everything. I just have strong opinions about things I do. You hate?
Clearly.
I love a lot of stuff. Don't come at me.
Oh, I will. He doesn't know me, does he?
I don't know if you guys know Paul Fenner. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he played this. Dave Matthews played, what's it called now? PNC?
Yeah.
Used to be the Verizon.
Yeah.
At the time. He was dating this girl. Doesn't matter. He was playing the little vestibule thing, right?
Yeah.
She's like, you can open for Dave Matthews. He's like, you want to come and hang out? I'm like, I'll fucking go. I don't care. Why not? I go there. You know how the big place is. We're up in this little thing. Gate here. They're the size of this can at the bottom. Me and his brother walk over. We're just kind of watching him doing his shit or whatever. And I watch this little fat, very angry security guard walk a good 5-10 minutes up to the top to tell me that it was a closed rehearsal in an amphitheater with no, it wasn't a room. I was like, bro, I'm right there. I'll move back over there. I can still hear it. Sorry. I was so mad. I was like, you're going to go and tell me it's closed rehearsal. I'm like, I'm right there, man. I'm like, I can still. I was like, I don't want to be here. It's not like I care.
I wonder
was
if
just
that
the
came
most-
from him or not. That may have been a venue
That was
thing.
just ridiculous, man. I was just like, really? He was so angry because it was such a walk for him to come, because he was at the very stage, like, through the seats, through the grassy knoll area. I'm like, close your eyes, you can't watch it. I'm like, I was like, all right, bud, we'll go 5 foot back over that. We're good, man. Over this gazebo, and I won't listen. I just was bored and walked over here to see what the hell was going on. Listen, watch the trumpet guy.
Be here Saturday, September 21st for Dwayne's Player Haters Ball.
You know, I was sitting here thinking, you know, you were like, I don't want to shit on anything. We should do one where we just let out everything and call it the shit show.
Dude, son, bring signs of stuff you like. Deftones are great.
I am going to disagree with you. I do love Deftones. They're a great band. I love them.
Fine.
So for
But
everybody.
it's cool. Like
Yeah.
you know, I don't care that you don't like them. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You know what I mean?
You know, the thing is not that I don't hate them. It's just I'm like, okay, fine. Like, put them on, cool, whatever. I'm good. It's just I'm never gonna throw that album on. But I do feel like they influenced just a very, like, it's like you take a thing. God damn, we're never getting off subject. Like, he took the vocal, which that's just what I call it. Sorry. And then we get like Glassjaw, which are members of one of my favorite bands, Sons of Abraham, with a different singer, going you know, whatever. I don't know. You get that. It's whatever.
Well, all right. So, who's your favorite band?
Fuck, I don't know, dude. Favorite grind band? Napalm Death. Favorite punk band? Screeching Weasel. And I hate saying that and going, ugh. And just because Ben Weasel's become such a prick over the last few years. He's a super Trumpster now or whatever. But that band means a lot to me. Indie rock band, Archers of Loaf. I mean, we have to do that. I mean, I can't be like, my favorite band of all time.
No, that's
I could
cool.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of. I can give you my top 3. Ramones, Sheep Trick, and Black Sabbath.
Those are all
Yeah,
quality.
that's quality
I'm good
band,
on
yeah,
all those.
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Mike has good taste in music.
you know, you talk about how like people people put too much stock in famous people's opinions,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to say like, you know, shut up and dance, monkey. Like, no, that's not it. You know, if you've got a platform and you want to use it for something, you go right ahead. There are consequences to that. You know, just like I love Danzig's music. But man, he's a fucking asshole, dude. He is such an asshole, man. I've seen him a couple times, and every time I see him, he goes on these little tirades in the middle of his set about people using backing tracks and shit. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, let him use
Play
backing
your
tracks.
set, dude.
Yeah,
We played 2 shows with, not we, but I was filling in for Johnny Dick, Queen City, when we played with Doyle, and what a man.
Yeah.
What a fucking
well,
piece
what
of
is it?
work.
They say never meet your heroes. Yeah,
I mean, he's not my hero. I just filled in for him. But I mean, it was just like, it wasn't even that. It's just, they just come off with like, if you touch us, we will punch you. If you knock on this door, don't be
Well, he
that
punches
fucking
his guitar
guy.
when he's playing.
It's like they have a trailer they drag around on the door. It's like, don't knock on the door, don't be that dude, and this stuff. And you know, if you want to talk to them, you talk to their tech guys, but whatever. And then complains about how he has to spend so much money on this shit. I'm like, well, don't bring 50 trailers with you. You know, you're
Yeah.
not. You can bring your amp and guitar and your bandmates and bring a tech. You're not a stadium. You
See,
know?
this is why I prefer local stuff. I've given up on mainstream shit. I like really have. Like,
well,
no.
there's just not a lot out there either right now that's
No,
worth
that's
that.
worth
Yeah,
it.
that's worth it. I mean, again, it goes back to what I was saying
Occasionally
about
you'll
everything
hear
getting so
something.
sanitized. Yeah, everything's like digital and auto tunes and you know, and I never I'd never want to be like the old curmudgeon shitting on everything because I'll acknowledge like good shit. Like there's honestly who's killing it right now. There's some hip hop artists out there that are killing it right now. You know, there's guys like Logic, J. Cole, who's from North Carolina, from Fayetteville. Very, very good because he's been around for a while. But you know, my daughter, my daughter's a teenager, so like you know, she's listening to stuff all the time, and some of the stuff she listens to, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I can dig that. But then some of the stuff, I'm like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
But I'm sure my parents did the same with, you know, first time I put on a Rage Against the Machine song in front of my mom and dad, I'm sure they freaked out. You know, fuck you! What are you listening to?
It's just like we were talking last night, me and Eric, and it was after the Snoop Dogg hot take or whatever. It was just like auto-tune and technology just makes everybody a musician now. Like, you don't have to learn an instrument anymore. You don't even have to be able to sing. You
Well,
can
so
just-
it's like with DJs. Like DJs, like I think of a DJ as you got turntables
Yes.
and you're working.
Not-
I don't consider someone with a laptop a DJ. I'm sorry, that's not art. It's not.
So when I do weddings, and then that's because it's a wedding. So, you know, that's
Well, if
strictly
someone's
to make money.
if you're
That's
getting
not-
paid for a very
Yeah.
specific thing, that's different than being an artist.
But
Well,
also,
no,
too,
that was a
you
joke.
do
There's the
have-
DJ artist,
Yes.
which is like I write this, but then there's like I DJ is like I'm a disc jockey. There's a difference.
But if you're actively mixing on your laptop while everything's going on, that's different. But just sitting there going,
Yeah.
all right, next track, that's nothing.
I also think it's crazy how much you can pay someone to do a wedding as a DJ. It's like really maybe that much to play. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Dude, that's
I mean,
a-
you know, when you fuck something up, you fuck it up. It
Yeah.
is their like one-time moment. It is kind of stressful. They get the wrong song for the entrance, or they overwalk their entrance song. They take an extra bit of like, oh, they haven't started yet. They gave me a 90-second
Yeah.
song. All right, you know, make sure shit works. Oh, I need a mic. You didn't say you needed mics when you talked to me a week ago. Now we're here. You have a wireless one? I'm not at Guitar Center doing this. What do you want me to do?
Dude, funny story about so my wife and I we got married in 2017 up in Asheville, and I'm gonna shout out the Crest Center, and you'll know why here in a second. So we hired a DJ from down here, a guy that we knew to come up and DJ the wedding, and the day of the wedding came, and me and like all the groomsmen were in the house, and my wife and all the bridesmaids were in another house. So we were all getting ready. I didn't see my wife till we got there, or whatever. We're getting ready to go to the center, and I get a call from our DJ, and he called to tell me that his car broke down and he's stuck. Like he's not even halfway to Asheville yet. And I'm like, fuck. One of my groomsmen was like, well, where's he at? I'll go get him. So he tells us where he's at. One of my groomsmen shoots down there to go pick him up, and he's not fucking there. Like, he's not where he said that he was. And so my groomsman calls me. He's like, I can't find this guy. I call the guy back. He's like, oh, yeah, well, we're getting a tow truck. We're going back home. I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't have a DJ for my wedding. And so I go to the Crest Center, and I'm talking to the staff there, and I'm like, yeah, so I had somebody coming up to play acoustic for my wife and I's first dance. And so my plan was to just ask him if he wanted to just like play our wedding. But I'm talking to the staff there, and without even telling me, they reached out to one of the local DJs that does a lot of their weddings. And within an hour, he was there getting set up, ready to DJ
That's
my
awesome.
wedding. And he charged about twice what I was paying the other guy, and only charged me what I was paying the other guy. I mean, it was.
Wow.
I didn't say anything to my wife about it at all. She came out after our ceremony. We walk into the reception, and she sees this guy that she hadn't met yet DJing. I was like, oh yeah, let me tell you what happened. but shout out to the Crest Center for like stepping up and like getting
That's
somebody
cool.
last minute like that. Because we're 2 hours away. Like it's not like we can call a homie, and be like, yo, come bring your laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy too because did you have like when you do things like that? It's like, well, do you have a preferred playlist, or do you want standard dribble for wedding? You want do you want that or whatever? Because somebody's already requested it.
Oh, you're gonna do the electric
Electric slide.
side. Yep, you're gonna do the Cupid shuffle.
I hate the Cupid
That's why I
shuffle.
always usually people just give me a playlist of what they need and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm just like, cool, because or they'll be like, oh, well, can you pull things up? I'm like, nope, there's no Wi-Fi here. Sorry, I cannot pull up. I do not have it with me, ready loaded onto my laptops or my iPads because they look cooler. I
Cupid
guess.
shuffle.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's not my cup of tea, but you look at how much fun these
I know,
ladies are
they
having.
do.
It's like,
They like to get out there
hey,
and dance to
good for
it.
them.
Hey, it's the only time white people really can dance. Line
Line dancing.
Hot take,
Line
hot take.
dancing.
So
You have a point there.
I mean, yeah. I like fun, right? I like to see people happy. Clearly, this is why we did this. So
I don't mind the dance. It's the song I don't like, but yeah, sorry. I
To
just
the left,
Man,
it's
to
okay,
so
fine. You can have a
stupid.
corn tribute band. I'm not going to complain. Go ahead. If you want to have the tone deaf,
I'm gonna
Slayer,
have
the
you
best
open
deaf
for
punk
that corn tribute
ever.
band.
I just made it off the top of my head. Should be a comedian. You want to have those
Pretty
guys
good.
play? I'll come out. Why not? And I'll go every time the song's done.
can't wait to show my wife this clip.
That's gonna be funny.
Yeah. But all right. So you like the underground stuff, and that's cool
Yeah.
too. Like,
I mean,
like I said,
I just have I like a lot of stuff. It's just I never like when people say, "Oh, you should love that person." Like people always assume, "Oh, you must love Neil Peart. They're a drummer." Rush is fine. I don't worship. I don't worship that guy. You know, I'm not into the guys that go 5,000 miles an hour. Even though I love playing blast beats, I don't care if you can infinite annihilator. Hooray! Good job, buddy. I'm glad you play that fast.
Who is your favorite drummer? Do you have a influence?
I mean, when I was growing up, Dave Lombardo was always
Lombardo,
he's
yeah.
fucking Slayer, man. I mean, you know, that stuff like that. That era of just, it's crazy. You go back and you listen to that and Morbid Angel, where those guys were like, I'm like, these guys are so fast. And they were really not, but it just worked, you know, and stuff. And it's like I had this conversation with a millennial the other day about they had made some post about a metalcore starter pack, and she was complaining about Chelsea Grand being a metalcore band. She's like, they're really death metal. And I was like, but are they? And she's like, because she knows I play music and stuff. I was like, I would consider more deathcore. I was like, honestly, breakdowns kind of take them out of death metal. There's not really a lot of death metal bands that go, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, I think breakdowns have kind of ruined a lot of music in general. I was like, when that's your basis and you build out from it, I was like, you kind of got to stop, you know?
Personally, I'm a fan of creativity. I think it's amazing that people can just come up with something out of thin air and make this awesome thing happen.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like that little childlike wonder, you know, that you get when you see something awesome. Like I still get that when I see something like super creative or unique on stage.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like my favorite type of music, I'm still like, man, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of why. That's what keeps me in it. That's what keeps me positive about it. You know, like I said, I could do a whole episode just shitting on all the things I hate about music, but
You really should. I mean,
but I don't like being negative, man.
It's always funny. Like I go to Fest every year, the Florida Fest, like, you know, it's 4 days or whatever, and it's very 90s, 2000 centric. You know, you get like this year Superchunk's playing, and you always get your hot water music and stuff. But there's there's now Fourth Wave Ska, which has made a huge fucking raging comeback. So there's a whole day of ska bands playing. You're like, oh, this is a thing now.
Yeah.
You shove your muster plugs and whatever play, but you can tell that there's a sector of like, this is for the kids that this is the Prince Daddy and the Hyena bands. I don't quite get it. It's every genre thrown together, you know, or whatever. And then there's a lot of bands like, oh, you guys found your dad's Promise Ring albums. Awesome. I like the way you guys sound. But it's just funny because like, listen to this. And I'm just like, yeah, man, I know. Yeah, cool. Promise Ring. Yeah, I know what you're going for. Which is great. I'm glad that's the new wave of trying to, you know, because I do like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm glad you're not, you know, running around going,
well, it's getting harder and harder to be original. I mean, there's only so many notes on the scale. There's only so many, you know, like it is getting harder to stay original because, you know, just about everything's been done.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with movies. That's why you're seeing like, you know, they're like remaking
Remakes.
everything
Live
because
action.
people are out of ideas.
oh, you ever want to have a hot take show? Let's go in the movies. Are you into music hot takes?
Yes.
I prefer movies over music any day. Like,
Yeah?
I'm a musician, but fucking movies are like flicks, as I like to call them. I take shit seriously on movies. Like I have like everybody's like, oh, you buy movies? Fuck yeah, I buy movies. Like I have a whole room of physical media. Like that's me. It's just when I decided I could get a job, I was like, I'm going to buy movies. I'm going to have a movie collection. So I'm that guy. Like 4,000 fucking steelbooks and then Blu-rays and all kind of shit. Like
So all right, so give me your
that's
take.
why I don't drink, because I can buy movies. I was like, I can spend $50 on a bar tab tonight, or I can go buy 3 movies tomorrow and have them a week later.
Give me your take on today's like climate with the way script writing's become more ideological rather than creative.
What do you mean versus like?
Well, all right. So something happened in like the mid 2010s where like you started to see this shift in American culture where you know back in the 90s they called it politically correct.
Culture infiltrating like that?
Yeah. So like now you've got this.
The first to say that as people, we need to be a little more fucking woke. These people that get real butthurt over someone being gay or trans, first of all.
No, that's not talking about that. I'm not talking about that at all.
No, this is what everybody wants to be like, oh, they're infiltrating our children with this and that. I'm just like, sorry, your kids are going to be around fucking gay people. Either love it or leave it.
What I'm talking about is like
fucking gay people.
Yeah.
If your kid wants to fuck a gay person, they would be gay.
Yes, but what I'm talking about is when it's like there's movies and TV shows you'll watch and it's like the script is unnecessarily like crowbarring in dialogue that's like clearly it's a little preachy.
Yeah.
You know, and
Extra
it's
complicated.
It's just annoying. It's like you didn't need to say that. Like okay, they're gay. Like you didn't need to go on this tirade. But then again, maybe some people feel that they do. But I feel like it ruins movies sometimes when you come at it with
I feel like there's probably movies on both ends of the spectrum though. So
there are. Yes.
I mean,
it's
I don't
you're
know,
going
I
to
feel
get
like-
that. It's unfortunate if you don't like it or whatever, I guess. But I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of stuff these days, but I never really see anything like that and go, it doesn't ever really bother me. Like,
I've gotten more into like series.
Message.
Lately. I don't watch a lot of movies.
what was that movie where they kept popping up going, Message? Was that
Don't be a minister or drinking your juice to the
Yeah.
No, but I do feel like if say someone's 16 or 17 and they're watching a series based in a school, and you're not running across one or two gay people or whatever, then you're not at a school.
Right.
You're just not. That school does not exist. And if it is, they're all in the closet still because it's Idaho or whatever. I don't know. Something
North
like
Carolina.
Yeah. It's just like they're afraid or whatever because especially now because everybody's like, oh, just the whole climate now. But I feel like people do get kind of hurt about that. And sometimes people are like, well, they made him gay for no reason. Well, they let him be gay. Did it hurt the plot him being gay? No, but now he's just gay.
Well, there are instances where it does affect like the plot of the movie, like with the Star Wars stuff, like that. With Disney really in general, Disney kind of pushes it so far that it kind of takes away from the content of the movie, and they're focusing more on the message.
They're just making shitty content now. That Star Wars stuff. sucks
Is that what it
these
is?
days.
They're just not as
The
Disney sucks.
Mandalorian bored the crap out of me. I got 4 episodes in. I'm like, I haven't watched the Star Wars thing since.
It was
then,
the
'cause
same
it's like,
thing, just
it's
every
like
episode.
Yeah,
what do
they rehash everything.
Yeah.
They can't make Hollywood can't make anything new anymore.
I knew that.
That's the problem. That's the real problem. I don't care about putting a message or putting, some diversity in my Star Wars, but just make something new and original and that makes me want to watch it.
Agreed. And it's the same thing with what I was saying about how music gets sanitized, like popular music and the most sanitized thing. And it's the same. It's like there's 360 million people in America. Everyone's got a story to tell, but they don't want to tell the stories that don't relate to everybody, right? Like they want to tell stories that everyone can relate to so more people can watch. Where I feel like if you take more risks and write more stories about people that are not in that majority, then it could be a lot more entertaining. Not only that, if you really want to be preachy, if you really want to shine a light on stuff, then start telling stories about people that that are different. Don't force an agenda. Rather than tell the story, don't make it preachy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because some of it comes off preachy. It's like I'm more interested in the person than the ideology, than the
Well,
take.
as someone who grew up being preached to, well, the shoe's on the other foot now, huh? I mean, I grew up in the 80s when like Satanic Panic came out and they tried to ban all my stuff.
Oh, my church burned CDs and
I got
shit.
preached to growing up. I don't care if my entertainment gets a little bit preachy. If I don't agree with it, it's whatever.
That's fair.
It's not going to ruin my life. That movie's going to be over with, and I want to keep living my life the way I live it.
It's
Just
like-
like if my sports team doesn't win the Super Bowl, who cares? That's why I stopped watching sports because it don't matter. It just don't matter.
It's like with every remake that's made, and people want to get super. Like I said, with me, man, there's a lot of remakes I'm not a super fan of or whatever. But you know what? I've got the original version of it there. They didn't go and now when you start cutting up old movies, that's another issue. That's something I have a problem with. That's why physical media is so fantastic. If you own it, they didn't cut your version up.
Is there a remake that you think is better than the original?
Oh Lord, yes. Let me think.
I can probably think of one too.
Huh?
I can probably think of one too. I'm trying to think though.
Which ones would be?
I don't want to think on it too long, but I'm sure there's some.
Yeah, instantly I go to the things I know are not as great.
I know the Evil Dead remake was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the original by any means, but the reboot of that, I guess,
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, Fede Alvarez did a great job on that. We'll stay in the horror genre. The Hills Have Eyes remake, much better than the original.
Yeah. That's a
Gave
good
it a
example.
budget, but also gave it to someone who genuinely put a backstory to it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. And the Hills Have Eyes 2 was better just because the original Hills Have Eyes 2 was terrible in general. But yeah, that was a great one, I'll say. But like I said, it's just also give it to someone who likes something.
I tried watching the new Dune movie, and I watched the whole thing, and I walked away thinking to myself, I'd like to have that time back.
Yeah.
Like, it was not good at all. It was
I haven't
terrible.
watched it.
I
It seems way
disagree
too long
on
for
1
me.
and 2. I thought the new Dunes were fantastic. Denis Villeneuve is one of our greatest directors of our time. and everything they touch is gold.
I think you should start a pop culture podcast. Dude.
I did have one, but it's too hard to get guests because people don't want to watch it. You know?
Oh man.
People don't want to have to sit through his hot takes.
No, I like to, I like to bring people, I let people. No, that's the thing. When I did my movie podcast, I let the people pick the movie, so it wasn't my hot take.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yes, there you go.
That was a good podcast. I was supposed to be on it, and then I drug my feet on that too. So.
Well, that's the thing is just getting people in.
Yeah.
Because I'd bring musicians as not to talk about music. I want to talk about movies, so that was my thing. So
Dude, when we opened this show up to just like whatever comes up, I feel like the show got way better. It started to feel. I've told you this before, Mike. It started to feel like we were doing the same show over and over with a different subject,
Same questions.
same questions.
Yeah.
And then when I started just talking to people, I feel like it got so much better.
Well, when I was doing my podcast, I always liked whenever just natural conversations would come up, and we kind of get off track a little bit. So.
Oh, we're running long. My producer says I could do this all day, man. I'm sorry. And I appreciate you guys coming on because this has been a nice escape from the stress of this week.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Let me remind everybody that you can see Stink Buggg here live Saturday, September 21st, which is also the Downtown Gastonia Bar Crawl. And Mike, I want to say thank you. Mike made a conscious decision to make it a cheap show.
Yeah. So $5 in advance plus $1 and some change.
Yeah, $5 to get you into the
$6
show.
get you in the show.
You know, if you're and I think if you're participating in the bar crawl and you want to come back to the show, we're just going to let you in. Let's talk before
and then
we.
$10 at the door. So buy tickets in advance.
Yeah, exactly. Buy the $5 in advance. And let's talk for a minute about the other bands on the bill.
Yeah. So the opening band is Aluminum 6. They're from Rock Hill. Gregory Ellis is in that band. He's been around the scene for a long time. Been playing as long as I have been. We shared the stage at the Milestone a bunch of years ago, like 27 years ago or so. So it'd be nice to play with him again. They're like I always kind of describe them as a little. His style is more like Midwestern punk rock, like Husker Du or Replacements, sort of in that ballpark. They're really good.
it's basically like a Rock Hill Super Band because Dan Vines is in it.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a lot of.
Yeah, I've known Greg for a long time.
Yeah.
I met him. He was in a Minor Threat tribute band when I was in high school.
Nice.
Guys, that's how they met him. He had a little tuft of hair and he played the drums for Minor Threat tribute band.
Yeah.
Really, and then he was in Salvo Rain. Fantastic.
Yeah, Salvo Rain was the band that Gregory was in back when with the Accents and Salvo Rain played a show together. But
is he still in Motel Glory? They're still going, right?
I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean he's done Motel Glory recently. Yeah. And then he does solo stuff too. So, but they're really good. And then the Eyebrows, they're from Charlotte. They've been around for quite a while, 10 years or so. Power pop, like Cheap Trick, Big Star, if you like that. You'll love the Eyebrows.
I'm probably going to dig that.
Yeah,
That's
they're
why
really
Mike had
good.
them on there,
They're so good. They're so good. They got some good records out. So come
Right on.
buy their records as well.
Awesome.
Also, the main event is it's my birthday that day. It's my 50th birthday, so you can bring all those Deftone records to me that day, and whatever the hell you want to do. Look,
Or bring him some movies.
Yeah.
He loves digital. He loves physical media. So
Bring me your unused digital.
all those DVDs you bought from Blockbuster when they went out of business, it's just been sitting on your shelf collecting dust. Bring them to Wade for it. Give it to him as a birthday gift.
Movie Gallery is my go-to. buying physical. They were always great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing the show, guys. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I can't wait for the show. I love watching Mike perform on stage. You never look as happy as you do when you're performing.
Oh, it's gotten better now because the way I play now, I get to rock out a little bit more than I used to.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You always look really, really happy on stage, and it's fun to watch.
And it's
man.
also, I feel a lot more comfortable in this band because we don't really have to worry about anything anymore. We get on stage and it's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
I always
So-
look very grizzled. That's
Right.
me. I'm always like, yeah. Because I'm probably missing wrestling to do it. I am. It's a son of a bitch. I miss Collision of this. Fuck this.
Break out one of them old VHS tapes and record that shit.
No, you know what you need to start is that he needs to occasionally hold up. I'm missing wrestling for this shit, and then just switch them out.
That's all right. As soon as we were done playing last night, I went to my phone and turned on Sling and watched Rampage. So it all worked out. I videotape it all on my digital device.
All right, old man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, fellas. Be here Saturday, September 21st. Bar crawl. We got Stink Buggg, Aluminum 6, and the Eyebrows. What time the show was? 8 o'clock? Is that right?
9
o'clock.
9.
Music will start at 9, but the doors will be open at 6 for the bar crawl. So pop in, pop out, come back for the show. It's going to be a good time. These guys are going to be a lot of fun. Thank you again for doing this. Peace and love.
Bye.